I really think that the reason to go to computer adaptive testing is its increased fairness in terms of precision and accuracy of the evaluation.
I think there are many reasons why the registry has chosen to move away from paper pencil exams and to put forth the effort to implement computer-based testing and computer adaptive testing. Certainly the precision of measurement is probably at the top of that list.
As EMS professionals, we are all responsible to the public to provide the highest level of care. With this in mind, the NREMT has made some important changes in the way we administer tests for the national registration.
There's probably no more difficult phone call that I have to make to a candidate than to explain to a candidate that I have no reason to doubt that you took an exam last Friday evening, but unfortunately in transit from the test site, your paper pencil materials have been destroyed or lost, and now you need to retake that examination all over again because we can't recreate your answer sheet. We can't recreate that test environment.
Technology advances have led to exciting changes in how testing takes place, including computer-based testing, computer adaptive testing, and item response theory. These changes will provide a more fair and accurate evaluation, faster results, more convenient scheduling, a more secure test, and will establish a higher level of professionalism for EMS providers.
Well, the big advantage is to the EMT. They get to know. I know when I took my basic and paramedic test, I was nail biting for weeks.
It sounds somewhat science fiction in some regards, but we've actually reached this point where mathematically and computers have come together in a powerful way that they actually can make the testing experience shorter and more precise.
CBT means computer-based testing. This simply means the exam is taken on a computer. Many companies and certifying organizations use CBT for testing, from computer software companies to physician organizations. Many organizations have used computer-based testing for nearly a decade, including the National Council of State Boards of Nursing. Since 1994, more than 2 million nursing candidates have tested using computer-based testing.
For emergency medical technology and paramedicine to evolve as a profession, we simply have got to have a single national definition for competence.
We believe that through computer-based testing, your knowledge has been tested and you have been measured as best as we possibly can.
There are two types of CBT, linear and adaptive. A linear test is a computer version of a paper and pencil exam. It may include a random order of questions and answers and is commonly used in classroom testing. Generally, it uses what is called classical test theory.
Classical test theory makes the assumption that everybody gets the same set of items and that pass or fail is determined on how well you answer that set of items.
Computer adaptive testing, or CAT, is a bit different. An adaptive test tailors each question to the individual candidate. If you answer a question correctly, the next question will be slightly more challenging. If you answer a question incorrectly, the next question will be slightly easier. With every question, a computer algorithm statistically re-estimates your ability. This estimate gets more and more precise as the exam progresses.
The computer can actually adapt the test so that it builds a test just for you.
And then as I've started answering them, I felt them getting more difficult, and it seems like every series of 5 to 10 questions became more and more difficult.
There was no skipping, and then you had the clock of doom up in the corner ticking away, and you're worried about, am I going too fast, am I going too slow?
This computer can write a test for you that may in fact, within 60 questions, 70 questions, determine that you were either competent or need to try again.
It wasn't a breeze, but it wasn't to the point where you couldn't pass it.
Whereas for me, it may take that computer 80 or 90 questions to do that.
It's very important that a candidate keep in mind that regardless of their performance level, they will get about 50% of the questions correct and about 50% of the questions incorrect. And that has no correlation with whether they have been successful on the exam or unsuccessful.
With CAT, there are some important concepts to remember. There is no minimum number or percent of correct items needed to pass. All candidates will be challenged to the limit of their ability, which means every test taker will think their test was difficult. Answer every question to the best of your ability. CAT exams are designed so that deliberately missing items or otherwise trying to trick the computer increases the likelihood of a failing score. Once you select your answer, be sure it is the answer you want before moving on to the next question. You will not be able to go back to any item and make a change once you complete that question. Each time a question is answered, the computer uses your response and prior responses to select the next question. Remember that the standard the candidates are measured against has not changed. All candidates are being measured against the exact same standard of entry-level competency as already determined through the standard setting process. All exams will include pilot test items that do not count for or against your exam results. Pilot questions are being evaluated for possible inclusion on future exams. There is no way for you to identify pilot items, so it is in your best interest to answer every question to the best of your ability. With CAT, the test comes to an end when the computer algorithm has calculated that your ability is either above or below the passing standard. The test will also end if you receive a maximum number of items or run out of testing time. Item response theory is also known as IRT.
What happens when you go into IRT is you look at items individually, and then you can place those items on a difficulty rating.
It is a statistical way to determine ability based on the fact that the probability of a candidate answering a question correctly is related to the candidate's ability and the difficulty of the question.
In item response theory, we have an item that matches you exactly as we keep giving you items around whatever that metric may be or whatever that number of difficulty may be. I guess the best way to say this, I can actually put the person and the item on the same scale.
When CAT and IRT are combined, test results are much more precise, accurate, and fair, because every candidate is measured precisely and compared to an established minimum level of competency. This established level is associated with the ability to provide safe and effective care.
The National Registry's Board of Directors is aware that the conversion to computer-based testing is a very big step for the EMS community, and we're committed to doing everything that we can to make the transition as smooth as possible.
Anything short of a bomb-proof certification process could potentially lead to less than competent care being delivered to patients.
Somebody picks up the telephone and dials 911. They expect that the EMT or paramedic that shows up in their moment of need is going to be competent.
You think about the public trust of it. It's a profession where if I walk up to a door or I'm called to respond to a medical emergency, they'll open up that door and they will let me walk in. They won't ask for a badge. They won't ask for my credentials. By sight alone, they believe that I can do what I say I can do. And in fact, not only will they let me do that, they'll let me walk through their house where they have jewelry laying around, where they have money laying around. They'll let me walk back the hallway to where their 15-year-old daughter is laying in bed. The public's assumption, the public's trust is huge in EMS. They believe we can do what we say we can do. And I believe the registry is a protector of that public trust.
Our responsibility as EMS professionals is to provide competent and safe care. Using CAT and IRT to determine competency will help us accomplish this important mission.
As a value statement that has never, ever faltered at the registry from the day it began until now is that we rely on the public trust and the care of the patients as pillars that hold us up. And that's why we do things like CBT to make the measurement better. Because in fact, if the measurement's not where it's supposed to be, we could be allowing people out there that in fact cannot do the job. And that would just simply be a violation of public trust, and I think that the registry is not willing to do that.